Now this statement is taken from track 1, page 15 over to 16. And Brother Houghton states the following. And Sister White is quoting from, "The Lord does not know work, says the spirit of prophecy, to bring many souls into the truth, because of the church members who have never been converted, and those who were once converted, but who have backslidden. What influence would these unconsecrated members have on new converts?" Now, when new converts come, they are going to be influenced by two classes of people, it states right here. The unconverted, those who are once converted but have backslidden, and those who have never been converted. Now, the new converts are at the mercy of these two. Those who have never been converted and those who are once converted have backslidden. And they're trying now, subtly, to influence the new converts. Now, if you think in your mind, how could this be done? Let's say you have a new convert that's sitting at the table at the cafeteria or anywhere at the mission house, and someone who was once converted and is not converted anymore, they've turned back. Or someone who has never been converted and they're upset for some reason at the association, but they're at the meal table. Now, if you have converted folks at the table too, they don't seek to influence the person necessarily because somebody is there that will check them. They might ask for a phone number and they start talking to the person on the phone. They might invite them to lunch, but it's subtle. So now, because all of us carry influence, it states, would they not make of none effect the God-given message? And so, as a result of these people, the Lord cannot bring the new people in. Not because they're going to kill the new people physically, but they exert an influence on the people that it is a mystery that the Lord himself cannot bring the people in, the new converts, because they're going to be lost just by the power of influence. So it shows you that influence is even more powerful than the truth. Think about it. You can be giving a person the truth constantly for 1 year, and somebody gets them to influence in 2 weeks and take all that you have done in a year. So much so, God realized the power of influence that he doesn't bring them in because he knows that they'll be lost eternally just because of the power of influence. And all of us exert influence. So some way they say influence is exerted. You have the self-significant person who talks about the me, their accomplishment, the self. And sometimes when people gather around, this is what people talk about. The approval-driven personalities, those seeking recognition, commendation, and praise. Team-driven person uses we and us. They're persons unmindful of whomever gets the credit. 4. Intelligent-driven person. They talk about their education, qualifications, social status, etc. All these are people seeking to influence. The pity-minded. The pity-minded wants recognition for their suffering. You know, some people are always talking about what they're going through, and as a new convert comes, they start to talk about all that they've been through or all that they're going through. And all these different personalities will talk about the things that impress them, and they're trying to influence the person they're speaking to. It happens every day. 6. Strength/power individual wants control and dominance over others, and this is through influence, and sometimes it's subtle. And you can see visually the impact here, the power of influence. In Symbolic Code, Volume 11, number 2, page 13, here inspiration states, what does it mean to confess our faults one to another? Answer, we do that when we make our faults right with those whom we have wrongly influenced. That's what it means, you know. So let's say someone sends or once invited to a WhatsApp group. What's the purpose of the group? Why they invite you in the group? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? Let's say somebody comes to talk to you about something and they're trying to influence you to come to a certain conclusion about someone or about something. They're not telling you that they're trying to influence you, you know. Nobody tells you that they're trying to influence you. But that's what people do. Sometimes they themselves don't even know they're trying to influence you. It says, Brother Outif asks, what do we? We do that, talking about confessing our faults, when we make our faults right with those whom we have wrongly influenced. But last night, this is not what we heard in some of the testimonies that were spoken. The converted Christian always has a good report. He's a man of faith, courage, and works. He's a Davidian indeed. So if we are thinking, once people come to us or at the end of the day, and we can start to think back on the day, what kind of influence was someone trying to exert over me or me over the person? We continue in the White House Recruiter, page 69. He states, men, women, and youth, God requires you to possess moral courage, steadiness of purpose, fortitude, and perseverance. Minds that cannot take the assertions of another, but which will investigate for themselves before receiving or rejecting, and will study and weigh evidence and take it to the Lord in prayer. Testimonies to the Church, Volume 2, page 130. In fine, God's people are fearless, candid, diligent students, not automatons. And this is what it means. You ever see you wind that little thing? And it's just going around, ting, 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 ting. So what he's saying is that you do have some people that they can be played and they don't realize that they're being played. Not bigoted dogmatists, nor surface skimmers. And this is what it means. This is just a perfect example. It continues here. Negative influence. Negative influence has a significant impact on individuals and organizations by eroding trust. So someone can work negatively to influence someone to undermine even an organization, eroding trust, lowering morale, hindering teamwork, and of damaging the reputation of the organization and individuals. It can lead to emotional exhaustion, increased stress, and poor mental health for those targeted. So let's say someone constantly come to influence you with negativity. It says after a while it can wear out the person targeted, because some people cannot see anything positive about life. And because we don't want to offend the person, we sit and listen to the stuff constantly, while creating a toxic environment of fear and mistrust. It can destroy a person's confidence and self-esteem, making them withdraw from social circles. At an organizational level, it decreases productivity, increases financial waste, and can even lead to legal action. Just the power of influence. Volume 2 of the Symbolic Code, number 5 and 6, page 4. Inspiration states, we are making a most earnest appeal to all present true believers to guard themselves from evil influence. And sometimes even in general discussion, if you just pick any individual in your mind and look at the trend of the text that they send. So if you look at the trend for 2, 3 months, 4 months, and see what, so let's say somebody's talking about health 2, 3, 4 months consistently. What is it that they're trying to convey? What is it that they disagree about, that they feel that they have to stick with this topic constantly? What they feel that the association is not doing, that they need to do, and subtly try to influence someone else. It could be any topic. And sometimes you have individuals that will take somebody's text that are disgruntled, and they take snippets of it, and you see they post it in general discussion. I see it several times. But they're trying to influence. It's like you drop pebbles in the water, and watch it ripples. But we too daily, sometimes when you come out of a conversation or you go somewhere or in a conversation gathered, you try to see after what influence am I exerting or being exerted on me. Now, inspiration says all present true believers to guard themselves from every evil influence and to gain the victory over the natural man who is urging them to sell out their birthright either for a bowl of pottage or a Babylonish garment, or for vanity or covetousness. So you see, he's saying no, the evil insolence is to get the natural man in you to sell out your birthright. And now, Brother Otif is going to show the power of influence, why the Seventh-day Adventist Church rejected the shepherd rod message. This is what he stated in track 7. And this is all from him. He said, the mind that influenced the minds of the 12. He's saying one person influenced all the other 12 to reject the message. He says, in a letter to Dr. W.S. Butterball, Professor Graff designates the conference investigating committee as the Committee of 12. So this is what the professor designated them, the Committee of 12. Repeating the phrase a number of times, making it appear that they should be regarded as just as dignified a body of authority today as the Sanhedrin was in Christ's time. One of these was Professor Graff himself, whose early brochures, in their phraseology and argument, in comparison with that of the reply, reveal that this Committee of 12, so far as their contribution to the reply is concerned, was a committee virtually of only one. No. The one who made himself more susceptible for Satan to work through the other 11 didn't know the power that he was exerting over them. And Brother Otif brings it out, the power of this man's mind to influence all these other theologians. He goes on and says, and that their findings were the product of this one's ingenious methods of interpretation. Thus, as the laity been defrauded of an impartial representative report and given the theological preconceptions and devising of what? One person started the ball rolling for the church to reject the message. As the findings of 12, wow, exclamation mark. And you know what? The other minds could be there and don't realize that they were taken over. Their mind was gone. And it happens to us all the time. So even sometimes when someone comes to us about someone else, what is it that they're trying to influence us to do? What kind of power is it that they're trying to exert over us, and why? These people were very educated people, and here Brother Otif brings it out. Inspiration is saying, this was just the work of one. Mind control originated by Satan, and this is Ministry of Healing. Sister White says, the theory of mind controlling mind was originated by Satan to introduce himself as a chief worker, to put human philosophy where divine philosophy should be. Of all the errors that are finding acceptance among professedly Christian people, none is a more dangerous deception, none more certain to separate man from God than this. Now, one of the things that if you look at, you could be studying with someone for even 1 year, and sometimes people are presenting the message to other individuals and they're afraid to tell them it's a shepherd's message. So they could be spending 2 years studying with the person, and the pastor hear that they're having study with individuals so and so, and the pastor will meet with the person one Sabbath in a private meeting, and they give up the message that they've been studying for 2 years. So it means we presenting the study never exerted an influence over that person to cause them to reject all the forces that would be coming against them. But the pastor and the elders can meet with them one time and they call you and tell you that they don't want any more study. So it means too that we haven't learned the art of influence. And it's not only us, you know. When Jesus Christ died, Jesus Christ wrought some mighty miracles during his time on earth. But when he died, his disciples were saying, we thought it was him. They were saying they thought it was him. If they didn't believe it was him, why did they still spend the time to go bury him? They were crying, and they still cared that he got a dignified burial. It meant, even though they misunderstood the prophecies that he was teaching them, he was able to move upon them for them to love him. So although they weren't going back to the church, and they didn't know if he was the Messiah, they still clung to him although he was dead, in love. So it shows that it is not only the truth. For someone to accept the truth, independent of influence, by love and care, it's going to take a strong person to be able to stand on their own, not knowing you well, and stand against the church people, just accepting the truth. We would have to be able to exert a mighty influence on them, to let them know that the things that they're talking about, these shepherd people, or Davidian people, are not so. The influence that they exerted, the time I spent with them, it is not what you're saying they are. And when we lose individuals too, we have to sit back and say, where did my influence fail that this person rejected the message? Because it meant that we didn't influence them the right way. And the person who persuaded them to reject the message was able to influence them contrary to our efforts. But sometimes we don't. We just move on and say they didn't want the message. At some point in our time with them, we lost them. So unless we sit back and think, where, during the 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, where did I lose this person? Because they know. If they talk to you, they will tell you that you lost me right there. You said this or that, or you were doing this, and there is something that you did that I just didn't. But they're not going to tell you. He continues. This is White House Recruiter, page 66 over to 67. Let your minds not be influenced by report or hearsay. Heed the counsel. And he's telling, and one of the things that sometimes Davidians study the doctrine, but these things are absolutely powerful. Every relationship that we have, somebody's going to try to influence your mind. It's just for good or for ill. Oh, that the Lord might guide you. You should never, in a single instance, allow hearsay to move you to action. Never, never be influenced by reports. He continues, you may have been told that no good thing can come out of this place. So was Nathanael told that no good thing came out of Nazareth. It is sensible, though, to do as he did, to come and see, and thus you, too, be an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Refuse to be influenced by evil reports, hearsay, ridicule, and character definition. Instead, faithfully use your eyes, ears, and mind. Then you will be as glad as he was. How glad was he? And this is the power of influence. And we're told that whenever people come to us to influence us by evil report, hearsay, ridicule, character defamation, he said, never should you in a single instance allow hearsay to move. And every association we form, friendship, partnership, always the person tries to influence the other person. And sometimes when people cannot influence you, they're mad with you. This is showing, the power. Now, you will have parents, and you can have a child that you've raised from 1 to 15, 16, 17, and they're in the home, and they go to school 4 weeks. They go to the school for 4 weeks, and they're influenced, and they're gone. Just 4 weeks. They meet a new friend. So it shows that even if you're teaching them Sabbath school class at home, Bible readings, song, if you don't influence them, the truth alone cannot do it. This was what Mount Carmel Training Center states, page 9. One student, with careless ideas may do more to let down the standard than 10 men with all their effort can do to counteract the demoralizing influence. One student, And you can send 10 men, converted men, behind this one, and they can't change what the one student has done. And sometimes I see it too. When you have children, sometimes they come home doing things that you never taught them before. They say things and you wonder, where you got that from? Oh, such and such was saying it. So, but it shows you the power, and you have to work diligently to get that stuff out. He continues. The informed and discerning will close their ears to all who in one way or another seek to reprobate truth's cause today. They will not listen to gossip. They will be confident that God is at the head of the work, that He Himself is attending to His business. They will know that all who remain in the pits of falsehood and unrighteousness will finally go into the bottomless pit of perdition. And people do these things subtly, you know. When they're attacking the association or individuals or the leadership, you think they just come out and they start subtly with certain things. And if they know that you're not into that, then they leave you and go on to someone else. When they form their private WhatsApp group, they don't add you. So you hear that they've started a group and several persons are in the group. It is to exert influence. And even us too, that we gather together as a people, it is just important. And once you see someone is trying to influence you or exert a kind of influence over you that's not healthy for you, your mental state of mind, you are friends or you're very friendly, but you can't suck that stuff in. And you have to tell people that it's not healthy. He goes on. Have Christians been authorized of God to criticize and condemn one another? Is it honorable or even honest to win from the lips of another under the guise of friendship secrets which have been entrusted to him, and then turn the knowledge just gained to his injury? Is it Christian charity to gather up every floating report, to unearth everything that will cast suspicion on the character of another, and then take delight in using it to injure him? Satan exalts when he can defame or wound a fellow follower of Christ. He is the accuser of the brethren. Shall the Christian hate him in his work? And sometimes people don't even know why someone came to you about this person. But it is just so subtle to influence you. And sometimes, you know what? You don't even realize when you caught the disease. You're mad with the person too. This is a powerful reading he goes into. It pains me to say that there are unruly tongues among church members. There are false tongues that feed on mischief. There are sly, whispering tongues. There is tattling, impertinent meddling, adroit. This word means extremely wise, quizzing. That's what it means. The word means smart, sly, quizzing. And once the quizzing occurs among the lovers of gossip, some are actuated by curiosity, others by jealousy, many by hatred against those through whom God has spoken to reprove them. So somebody is reproved, they don't like it, they go to someone else, but they don't tell the individual that they're mad with the association or the leadership or this one. And they go slyly to start a talk. Well, you hear this new doctrine or this, and they start subtly. And by the time they're finished, if the person that they're talking to, especially if they're new, you see them not coming to the study, or they stop coming around. They say, why? Well, I don't come because of so and so. And they're not, you don't even know why. And even when people come amongst us, this is why it's so important that we have to try to exert the most powerful influence on them. It says all these discordant elements, this brother Tahotif described them, are at work. All these discordant elements are at work. Some conceal their real sentiments, while others are eager to publish all they know, or even suspect of evil against another. While many are neglecting their own soul, they eagerly watch for an opportunity to criticize and condemn others. All have defects of character, and it's not hard to find something that jealousy can interpret to their own injury. No. Say these self-constituted judges, we have facts. We will fasten upon them an accusation from which they cannot clear themselves. They wait for a fitting opportunity and then produce their bundles of gossip and bring forth their tidbits. And sometimes, you know what? They don't even come to you. Sometimes they go to someone else. So this is why, you know, it's good, even at the end of the day, to look back through our data and see how was the day, how the conversations that you had. And sometimes I see it even the children. Sometimes they try to influence each other to do something else. But adults are different. And Brother Hote says this thing, he said it's at work. It's not dormant, never dormant. I'm going to close soon. Satan hypnotized Adam and Eve. Satan tempted the first Adam in Eden, and Adam reasoned with the enemy. Adam reasoned with the enemy. Did Adam talk to Satan directly? You know, right? You know the story goes. And thus giving him the advantage. Satan exercises power of hypnotism over Adam and Eve. And this power he strove to exercise over Christ. But after the word of Scripture was quoted, Satan knew that he had no chance of triumphing. Tamper not with hypnotism. It goes on. Men and women are not to study the science of how to take captive the minds of those who associate with them. And sometimes when some people come with their idea, when you're not listening or agreeing with them, they're getting angry. This is the science that Satan teaches. We are to resist everything of this kind. We are not to tamper with mesmerism and hypnotism, the science of one who lost his first estate and was cast out of the heavenly courts. And this thing we do so often, trying to control each other, trying to influence someone for bad. But good influence is good. And good influence is that even if you cannot influence a person, you respect their rights. And all of us exert influence. All of us. No. Inspiration tells us the man of the hour can live in this fault-finding, backbiting generation and not talk about your neighbor. Can you remain the same when your brethren are slandering you both by tongue and by pen? Can you have your very heart crushed by your superior and yet love and thank him for his kindness? If you can, my brother, you are the man for the hour. And this is my second to last statement. The experience of the and I'm reading from Shepherd Rod, Book 1, Volume 1, page 183. The experience of this Indian teaches that anyone professing the name of Christ, his course of action and conversation, when in contact with the world, has a decided influence for better or worse. Every conversation we come out of, it either affects the person for better or for worse. They cannot come out neutral. Every conversation we have with someone else, we influence them for better or for worse. And in turn, as waves of the sea, one wave carries another, and still another. Throw a pebble into the lake, and a wave is formed, and another, and another. And as they are increased, the circle widens until it reaches the shore. So with our influence, beyond our knowledge, our control. So even if we confess our fault, we cannot bring it back. So with our influence, beyond our knowledge, our control, it tells upon others in blessing or cursing. It can never come back. Once we drop our influence, our negative influence amongst someone, we can go to them and apologize, and they still have the same concept that we told them about the person, as long as they live. We close with this statement. Without doubt, the most common weakness, and this is written by a social scientist, without doubt, the most common weakness of all human beings is a habit of leaving their minds open to negative influence of other people. He said that's the most common. Even when you go in Walmart, the greeter is trying to influence you. This is why you have social influencers. The power of influence. We every day try to influence each other. And so this says, without doubt, the most common weakness of all human beings. And in studying, this is the most common human weakness, to be influenced. Alright, may God bless you. And may you, I hope you got a good influence.
Thank you for listening. This has been a production of the Davidian Seventh-day Adventist Association. You can find us online at www.bationhill.org, and you can call us at 417-835-2162.